Hey everyone! Welcome back to the Book Nook, the channel where we work on our reading and writing goals together. Speaking of goals, we've already crushed the goals we've set back when I first started this channel, to read at least 10 informational texts and write 2 informational pieces of our own. Go us! Now I have some amazing news that'll help us set some new goals. I just got an invitation to a storytelling festival. Imagine this, the storytellers from all over the world sharing their most amazing stories, tales that have been passed down for generations, stories that explain the mysteries of life, or even teach us something important. Pretty awesome, right? Thanks to this upcoming storytelling festival, I'm going to set a new goal to dive into: stories. Okay, so I need a goal for helping me dive into stories and prepare for the upcoming storytelling festival. Oh, got it! And of course, we'll want to make it a SMART goal, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. By the week of the storytelling festival, I will explore at least 6 stories from different cultures around the world and create 1 original story to share at the festival. Boom! Smart and ready to go. This goal will allow me to read a whole bunch of stories and use all that inspiration to craft my piece in time for the festival. I can't wait to see how this journey unfolds. Oh, hey, you can join me on my storytelling exploration if you'd like. And be sure to set some new SMART goals for yourself, too. You know, storytelling isn't just for fun. It's a way people around the world share lessons, culture, and connection. No matter where or when people have lived, every culture has had stories to share, and they're a huge part of what makes us human. From myths that explain the stars to folktales about clever animals, storytellers and storytelling help us understand each other and the world around us. I can't wait to create my own story for the festival, but first, we need to explore the 3 big types of traditional stories: myths, fables, and folktales. And best of all, we'll be looking at examples from all over the globe. Before we jump in, do you know anything about these kinds of traditional stories? Pause here to write down whatever comes to mind when you think about myths, fables, and folktales. Maybe you thought of some myths, fables, or folktales you've heard before. Keep those stories in mind as we dive in. Let's start with myths. Myths are all about answering the big questions in life: why things happen, how the world works, and what it means to be human. These stories are packed with larger-than-life characters and magic, and they often help people make sense of the natural world and its mysteries. Take the Maori myth of Maui and the sun, a story from New Zealand. Maui, a trickster demigod, noticed the days were too short for people to get their work done. So he lassoed the sun with his magical rope and slowed it down, giving everyone more time to enjoy daylight. What does this story explain about the natural world? It offers a reason for the length of the day, showing how people used creativity and storytelling to explain the world around them. Now, let's check out fables. Fables are short, simple stories that teach us a lesson, kind of like a life pro tip wrapped in a tale. Fables often use animals that act like humans, which makes them fun and easy to remember. And here's something cool. In fables, certain animals often represent the same kinds of personalities. For example, a fox is almost always clever and sneaky. A lion usually represents strength or pride. A mouse is often small, but very resourceful. Once you start noticing these patterns, it's like a secret code you can use to figure out the deeper meaning of a story. One of my favorite fables is the fable of Anansi and the Pot of Wisdom. Anansi, a clever spider, wanted to keep all the wisdom in the world for himself, so he put it in a pot and tried to hide it up in a tree. but the pot was heavy and Anansi struggled. When his son suggested carrying it a different way, Anansi realized he didn't have all the wisdom after all. What lesson do you think this fable is trying to share with us? It sounds like wisdom is meant to be shared. Isn't that a great lesson? Finally, let's dive into folktales. Folktales are traditional stories that are passed down through generations, often reflecting the values and culture of the people who tell them. Unlike fables, which teach a specific moral or a lesson, folktales often focus more on sharing something important to a community. One of my favorites comes from India, the tale of the vain Raja's terrible secret. In this story, a barber discovers that the Raja, or king he works for, has a secret. He has the ears of a goat. The barber is sworn to secrecy but struggles to keep it in. To let it out, he whispers the secret into the ground. Later, reeds grow from that spot, and when played, they sing out the Raja's secret for all to hear. It's a funny, exciting folktale passed down over generations to share the value of honesty. I love traditional tales like these. Okay, let's pause for a second to make sure we're all on the same page. Let's think about the 3 types of stories we just talked about: myths, fables, and folktales. What do you remember about each type? Pause here to fill in some key information about myths, fables, and folktales. How'd you do? I'm going to write down my ideas to help me remember what we learned about each type of story. Myths explain natural events or cultural beliefs, including gods and magic, and come from ancient cultures. Fables teach a lesson or moral, are short and simple, and often feature talking animals. And folktales are passed down through generations, have simple plots and relatable characters, and reflect cultural values. If you need to, take a moment to check your notes and add anything you might have missed. Wow, what an incredible start to our storytelling journey! We've explored myths, fables, and folktales, and now we know what makes each type special. Stories like these are like windows into the beliefs, values, and lessons that cultures around the world hold dear. But our journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Remember, my goal is to explore at least 6 amazing stories like those we learned about today and create one of my own to share at the Storytelling Festival. I hope you'll set a storytelling goal too. Goals give us direction, and they make the journey even more rewarding. Until next time, keep exploring stories and start setting those goals. Let's inspire each other as we prepare for this festival. See you next time, storytellers! Hey, hey.